Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Committee of the Whole meeting of the DeKalb City Council, January 28, 2019. We'd like to call the meeting to order, and prior to our roll call this evening, I'd like to make just a couple of housekeeping announcements. One is we only have one item on the agenda tonight, and that is the Central Business District refuse update. But if anyone would like to speak to that, or for that matter, anything on the Committee of the Whole agenda, feel free to, or that's not on the Committee of the Whole agenda, please feel free to fill out a speaker request form, give it to our city clerk, Lynn Fazekas, and she'll get it to me. At this point, I have no one who would like to speak during the Committee of the Whole. As those of you in our audience tonight and those of you who are joining us at home on Channel 14, as you know, it's a brutal string of weather that we've had and that we expected to have over the remainder of this week. I'm told that the mayor does have the authority to cancel a meeting such as this city council meeting. However, I felt, given the weather forecast and given the fact that we have had a small uptick in temperatures, that today would be a good time not to try that cancellation policy. Secondly, I think we have a number of very important issues that we want to consider tonight, and for that reason, and given the fact that this was sort of a unforeseen spurt of snow here late afternoon, I felt that we could go ahead and meet tonight. So welcome, and again, we hope that those of you at home stay warm, and we'll try to keep you entertained as best we can. With that having been said, Lynn, if you'd call the meeting to order, please, and have roll call.
Jacobson. Finucane.
Here.
Stupija.
Here.
Fagan.
Here.
Noreko.
Here.
Verbeek.
Here.
Favor.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
7 present.
Thank you. So move. Approval of the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? I'd entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Alderman Finucane, seconded by Alderman Favor, that we approve tonight's agenda. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Finucane.
Yes.
Stupija.
Yes.
Fagan.
Yes.
Noreko.
Yes.
Verbeek.
Yes.
Favor.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
7-0.
Thank you. The agenda is approved. Before we get into the one item under consideration tonight, we do have public participation. We have no speaker request forms at this point. So we will move forward to the consideration for this evening, and that is the Central Business District refuse update. And our city manager, Bill Nicholas, will speak to this item.
Thank you, Mayor. Refuse collection in the downtown business district is not a new topic the council has been wrestling with. I'll take you back, as I did in my background, to the bid process for the RFP for the waste hauling and recycling contract back in the spring of 2018. And at that time, we were interested in this very topic and wanted the bidders, the interested parties, to give us some pricing for what it might cost to collect refuse from the various corrals or waste receptacle enclosures in the downtown business district. The bidder that won the contract, Lakeshore Recycling Systems, did offer a price of $1,600 a month, and in their 5-year contract gave us an indication of about roughly a 2.5% increase per year for the purposes of collecting the refuse on a weekly basis from each of these enclosures. It happened, and the bidders were all aware of this, that the previous contract holder had not invoiced for waste and recycling services. So this was a bit of a question mark for the bidders in terms of pricing. Downtown businesses and residents were aware that there might be the possibility of having to pay something, though. The council now is party to a contract in which it commits to work with the hauler, Lakeshore Recycling Systems, to see that the refuse is not only collected, but also that the hauler gets their $1,600 a month to start with in this first contract year. And the question then is how is that money to be collected? And also, what's the best way to let people know that the council is serious about collecting something for the work that would be done? I'm happy to say, and I'm coming into this midstream, obviously, but I'm happy to say that Tim Holdeman and his Public Works staff have been very dutiful in working with the interested parties, which includes restaurants and a variety of commercial businesses and also residents, and also has been working with downtown merchants to keep them apprised and to also solicit their opinion on what might be a fair system. So what you see on the second page of your background report tonight is a tiered rate system that has had a lot of discussion. In fact, we, before the winter holidays in December, sent certified mailings to all of the occupancies in this downtown business district and let them know what our intentions were and propose these prices. As you can see, the top tier would be the restaurants, and we have about 10. The second tier at $15 would be a variety of commercial businesses, offices, and so forth. And then the apartment number, which is the largest. At this point, we've counted 76, and that would also be the smallest price per month. What we need at this point is some direction from the council, and there are 3 questions that I asked, and there may be others. One was if you feel that we've done all that can be done to alert the downtown, the vested parties, I guess you would say, about what our intentions are, which is basically to live up to our commitments within the contract. Are these rates fair? And if so, should we bill the interested parties on the city water bill, or what would be the best way? I can tell you from the staff standpoint, the answers would be this. We do believe that we have alerted downtown businesses and residents fully. I attended a meeting at the Downtown Merchants Association just last week with Jason Michnick and Alderman Finucane, and we listened to their thoughts. They seem to be supportive. I didn't hear any strong voices against. We feel that everybody who occupies a space in the downtown got a letter or 2 inviting them to meetings. We didn't have a very good turnout at the meetings. I think we had 1 at the first meeting and 1 at the second meeting. Different people, but only 2 out of possible 100 or so. And finally, I think we would like to see the fees charged on the city water bill. That way we're certain of getting some money. Otherwise, we're probably not going to see much of a response, and we probably have to chase it pretty aggressively for quite a while, and that we'll reach a point of diminishing returns, and I think that's what's happened in the past when there have been earlier systems. There's been a certain alienation from the city going after that money, but I think this would be the best way to proceed. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, and Tim Holdeman's here tonight and would be happy as well.
Okay, well, I think you've given us 3 excellent scenario questions, if you would, to ponder over. We've had this material for some time now, but let's take them one by one, unless someone here on the City Council would like to go in a different direction. Does this council believe that further effort should be taken to alert downtown businesses and residents, such as distributing flyers from door to door? And I'd open it up for any questions or comments. Alderman Fagan.
Bill, do you think legally, I mean, with lack of participation in some of these meetings, do you think we need to do any certified letters to these people, or do you think?
The first letters were certified.
Okay, good. And then the rates. I mean, these rates are, I wish I could pay those rates.
They do cover the $1,600 a month
Right.
hauler commitment. And probably a little, it really depends how many of these residences are actually going to be occupied, and that's it's kind of a mercurial number. It changes from year to year, season to season. So, but we should more than cover the 1,600. And just remember, there are costs, not just in the billing piece of it, but we intend to. Andy Rise here in the audience tonight. Andy with the street department and Public Works have been involved in doing some hosing down and cleaning up the hauler we have now and the hauler before. We're pretty good about keeping them pretty clean, but in the warmer months, any kind of dripping or mess tends to create an odor and needs to be cleaned up. So we've done that. In other words, any residual that may be over the $1,600 a month can easily be put to work in offsetting some of our costs for maintenance.
But how are you going to work that out with water bill with the apartments? Because those apartments, do they get their individual water bills?
I believe the owner does. Brian Favors in the audience tonight, and isn't that correct, Brian? The owner gets the...
Yes, the owner would get the bill. And our intent is, for instance, if you have a business commercial, business down below, 5 apartments above, even if they just have one water meter, we could still bill a business commercial for refuse and 5 individual residential above. So it really doesn't matter whether it has 1 meter, 2 meters. We should be able to set those rates really without too much difficulty.
And then my other question is, whether they're rented out or not, are they being charged for it?
Our intent and the feedback that we received from the business owners was that they would like to see a consistent rate. They don't want to see a fluctuating refuse rate. So really the only way to do that is to bill based off of the number of units that are down there, vacant or not vacant, and really be kind of an administrative nightmare if you could
That's,
change
yeah.
that. And that would change the rate then too. So
Yeah, you couldn't chase that down and find out which is occupied and which isn't. So yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Bill all businesses and residential based on the fact that they're all occupied.
All right, thank you.
Alderman Norrico.
There's quite a difference between the restaurant rate and the business commercial, and I recognize that restaurants generate all the kitchen waste and other paper waste and so forth. But was there any, specific rationale for the $35 difference?
You identified it. I think that's the principal one, that just the volume. In your restaurant, you've got scrapings, you fill up the black garbage bags, and they go out, and the big lawn bag type plastic bags. And now there are, on occasion, there are businesses that get a lot of cardboard boxes. Well, not naming a name, there was one that was generating a lot a couple years ago. Sometimes, though, it's to their advantage to compact that. And they make some provision for that on their own and to cut down overall costs. But it's just the volume. And clearly, most of our businesses, as we've observed, don't generate a lot of extra beyond.
Okay, so there was some attempt or effort to kind of observe and... dumpster diving or whatever.
Well, we didn't do that. But, well, I can't say for sure, maybe. But I do know we have eyes on the downtown courts and alleys every day, and we know who
Okay.
dumps and who doesn't, and
Okay.
where they dump.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions of Bill regarding either this question or either of the other two? I think we've covered all of those so far. So correct, give me the lay of the land now. We have given you, I think, clear direction that we understand that these rates are fair, that we do not need to alert anymore in any other way other than perhaps what coverage we would get tonight in the media, and that the tier of charges, when implemented, would at least cover the $1,600 fee that we're getting from LRS for this. So I think I see consensus here, Bill, from council that your questions have been answered to our satisfaction. Do we need then to prepare an ordinance for this, or do we simply give you approval tonight that this is the way to go?
We'll prepare an ordinance for
Okay, good.
hopefully possibly the next meeting. The sooner probably the better, because the hauler
Sure.
has been patient, but they're entitled to.
Once.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, good. There are no other considerations for our committee of the whole meeting tonight. Do we have any executive session
No.
planned? We
No.
do not? Okay, given that scenario, I would entertain a motion to adjourn this session of the committee of the whole.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved by Alderman Stupedja, seconded by Alderman Verbic, that we adjourn this meeting of the Committee of the Whole. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? So move. We are adjourned. City Council will begin promptly at 6 o'clock.